Okie dokie. We are here with the overrated episode. So, just gonna hop right into it. There are a few players where I've avoided them every draft, every mock, every redraft. I joined a keeper league. I've avoided these players in every one of them. Every one of them. And I like some of them, but just not at their current ADP, which is what this is based off of. And we kind of have right here from Fantasy Pros the ADP for the wideout position is what the video will focus on. So I'll look at a player, talk about why, I'll look at it on here and talk about who I want kind of around that area. So, number one, Amon-Ra. Why? Sun God, really good, but new offensive coordinator. That might take time to get things cracking. We've heard nothing but bad things, and I don't mean like a lot, but we've heard like a bad report or two about the offense not really meshing and things not kind of flowing as smoothly as what they would like. And Ben Johnson kind of had a focal point of the slot wideout Amon-Ra in that offense, right? And like he didn't play slot all the time, but that was where he got like a good amount of his bulk. Again, great talent, great wideout, super good. But there's also been a lot of JMO hype, which from the Lions usually it ain't coach speak. It's usually a good amount of truth. Both Dan Campbell, and the offensive coordinator John Morden, I think, both have been hyping up JMO, and it does worry me about Amon-Ra a little bit here. The offensive line, too, took a little hit, losing a couple of their starters. Again, they got Tate Radledge, who I like a lot, from Georgia, but rookie, a little injury prone at Georgia, so TBD on how that'll end up going. Again, I like the talent, love the kid. I wish he went to Chicago, but tough luck, huh? And he had a cleanup surgery on his knee earlier on in the offseason, which is fine. Very, very small thing, which when you're drafting up high is usually what you're going to try to do to kind of differentiate. Oh, do I really want to pick this player or that player based off of like a little injury they might have had on the offseason that could be lingering, or any type of surgery, or any current injury, depending on when you are drafting and how you feel about them. But again, I love Amon-Ra. But even my own rankings, I have them. I moved a couple rankings around a little bit. I'm not really going to talk about them a whole lot. I kind of scroll through them though, just so I have proof. Mainly in the quarterbacks, I switched. Nothing major, but a couple of them. Like Purdy's up to 10. Switched out Purdy and Drake May. Flip-flopped them. Patty Mahomes a little bit higher. Goff a little bit lower. Herbert a little bit lower, I think. That was mainly it. But I kind of want to put Dak above Burrow, but the injury history, I wouldn't be comfortable taking Dak over Burrow. I couldn't. But yeah, you see Amon-Ra as my 11th rate overall wideout, and just like looking at the other positions, like who would I take off after him, or like around that area. Like, he's going at, the wideout 5 right now, on average, where you got the top 3, Jamar, Jay Jettis, CeeDee Lamb. After that, it's a tier of Malik, Amon-Ra, you can read it, Nico, Puka, BTJ. You can throw Drake London in there how you feel about him. And A.J. Brown is usually the odd man out, but he's above the Lad McConkey, T. Higgins tier. So he's kind of like a tweener tier, but I'm not really going to include him because usually people are going to be taking London over him. But, you have, 6 guys right there, right? Yeah. So, you could really pick your poison between any of them. It is full point PPR for what I'm talking about. So, maybe even 11 is a little too low. But, yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like it really is too low. But, no, it's not, because I forgot Mike Evans. Hello. So, yeah, I would take, again, all these guys, Jamar, CeeDee, Jefferson, Nico, BTJ, Malik, London, A.J. Brown. Mike Evans I would take over Puka. Love Puka. Could finish number 1 easily. His points per game when healthy, top notch. Top notch. Better than Jefferson. But Stafford is a huge question mark. And I would rather have to bank on the player being healthy, who has a relatively good injury history, compared to his quarterback, who is 37, 38 is what Stafford is at the moment. He hasn't taken a hit all preseason, which, yeah, like, you're happy about that, but you kind of want him to maybe get into football shape a little bit more. So that is a little bit worrisome. The O-line's fine, nothing special, but it ain't bad. You would like it to be a little bit better for a man like that, whose back is just the biggest question mark on that team, holding them back from making a Super Bowl run, now having Devontae. I mean, love Stafford, Georgia boy. Love him. Went to the Lions, was happy for them, but, it's tough right now. It's tough right now to pick Puka, because I like Mike Evans more. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to make the switch right now, in fact. I don't know what happened here. I'm going to delete the column. Or the row. Oh. Okay, as you can tell. There we go. Yeah, I just like Mike Evans more than both of them. And Puka I would take over Amon-Ra. Just because I think you can normally get Puka after Amon-Ra. Like, it would depend on where you are in your draft. Like, people have already drafted by now, so the videos are a little late, but whatever. This is more so to kind of look back after to see if I called anything right. But I worry about Puka, but I worry about Amon-Ra taking a step back. Like, again, with that offensive line, new offensive coordinator, the touchdown regression as a team should come, and their defense is healthy entering the year. They'll hit anybody, and they'll just injure themselves all year long. From what we've seen a year ago, hopefully it won't happen again. If you're a Lion fan, but if it does, great for Amon-Ra. Then you know what? He'll be much better than wideout 11 in full point PPR, for sure. But if not, their defense is going to be keeping them in games and winning games for them even. I don't care that they have a new defensive coordinator. The talent they have is absurd. Like, they got a new cornerback too. Like, I forgot who it was, but they got a really solid cornerback and during the offseason, free agency, I think. And, man, the defense is even better entering this year. Depending on how Aiden Hutchinson ends up coming out. It might take him like a month and a half to kind of get back into, like, tip-top shape, but yeah, just really tough for Amon-Ra, I feel. Really tough to live up to his wideout 5 draft type. But second player, Garrett Wilson. Everybody is out on the Jets, and they should be. Why? Because Justin Fields can't throw all that well. He will usually hawk down his wideout 1 from what we've seen, which is good. Because Garrett Wilson is probably their wideout 1, 2, and 3 at this point. But they lost one of their interior guards literally yesterday or the day before, which is bad because that means more pressure, which means Fields will want to scramble more, and he will scramble. He really won't look downfield all that much. You have to hope that Garrett Wilson is kind of, crossing with him to whichever direction he may be running. If not, then he's not going to find him on the other side of the field. He'll check down or he'll take off. So, and just the touchdown upside ain't there, unfortunately. They want to have a committee backfield, which is fine. I don't think that'll really play into Garrett Wilson, but I think it'll play into how well they move the ball down the field. Like, Breece Hall is by far the best running back in that room by a country mile. If they have Braylon Allen, who runs a 4.7, probably like a little quicker, but he's not that agile. He's not that. Can't really accelerate all that well, which ends up taking, the offense further back because of the, guard injury. Again, if they can't move the ball down the field, then the touchdown upside will not be there. Like, his over-under is at 4.5. 4.5, and I would even contemplate taking the under. He's too talented not to have more than 4.5, but the situation isn't calling for it, with their defense being good, and they have Aaron Glenn as head coach. Like, their defense should not take a step back with under Robert Saleh, or compared to both of them. So, Wilson, another full point PPR baller normally, but this year just isn't the year. Too many changes happen every year, and people end up hoping that things would play out, and I've seen it too many times to not fall for the bait. Love the talent, love the player, but the situation does matter a lot. A lot. And again, you kind of look at who he is being drafted around. $19, you got DK, which I'd probably take Wilson full point PPR. But even then, pick your poison. If you really have Brees Hall, then pick DK for sure. But you got Cortland Sutton, I'd take DJ Moore, where he's on this list. That's a tough one too. Worthy, I'd take. Devontae Smith, I'd take. J-Mo, I'd probably take. Ted McMillan, I'd take. Zay Flowers, no. Pickens, I'd take. Ridley, I'd take. Travis Hunter, I'd take. Jerry Jeudy, coin flip, probably not. Pearsall, I'd take. Igbuka, Golden, so many of the guys down here. Olave, I'd take. Just because their situations are much better. Much, much better. And I don't really think I have it fully reflected on my rankings. I have them as what? 26. I should put J-Mo and Calvin Ridley above him while I'm doing this. I mean, really. The more I kind of talk about it, the better I feel I end up ranking. Kind of make it more accurate for y'all as well. Olave and Golden. Even Waddle's kind of interesting because you don't know about the injury. Waddle's very if your team is already injury prone, you can't pick Waddle. It wouldn't work out well, most likely. But anyway, yeah, I'd take a lot of guys over JSN or over Garrett Wilson at his current ADP, even in full point PPR. I'm not banking on a bad situation to get me 12 points, and I have to be happy with it. No, I'd rather have an upside shot, and even if it doesn't pan out, even if he finishes above them, tough. I'll be happier with them than I would be with Wilson. So, third guy, JSN, love the talent, but why would I not draft him at his current ADP? Darnold, terrible under pressure. That O-line, not that good. Still probably bottom 5 in the league, even after adding, Gray Zabel from North Dakota State? Center, I believe. Maybe he's a guard. Maybe he's a center at North Dakota, but he might be a guard. But, yeah, I mean, one offensive lineman doesn't change anything, especially with being a rookie, unless they're a top-tier, blue-chip, diamond prospect, Alt, Penny Sewell. It just won't pan out right away normally. Not that it can pan out later on in the year, but again, they need more. On their team, they have new coordinator, Kubiak. He loves running the ball. That'll be a focal point, which is fine. You need that for Darnold. He can't air the ball out, 30 times a game and expect good things to happen. Not with that team. Not with the weapons that they have, or the lack of. And on the roster, they have 4 tight ends and 2 fullbacks on the team, which tells you that they want to run, and they're probably going to want to do 12 personnel pretty often. And Cooper Kupp is there, which is the big thing. They kind of bite into each other. I don't have any faith in Kupp anyway, but we don't know where either of them. I'll talk about Kupp as well. I don't like him at his current ADP, which is pretty low already. Old, injury prone. And I don't know where he's going to line up. Brand new system, too, that is run heavy and run focused. Torrey Horton is probably going to be their outside guy that they're really banking on, and I just can't see Cup returning, top 40. I really can't. I don't even know where I have him ranked, but I'd rather take other guys over him later on, like Josh Palmer, Dante Thornton, Darnell Mooney, guys like that who actually have upside, and I'd feel okay playing. I'd be confident even if they don't do well. I'd feel way better putting them in than Cup, but I just don't know where either of them will line up most of the time. They could flip flop. Cup can only win in the slot, but that's where JSN would make a lot of his bread from. But if they push him on the outside, he'll win, but not nearly as often unless he really takes a jump up during this offseason, which anything can happen. Again, love the talent. No question about that. But it's kind of tough. Sorry, I gotta see something if I have football. It's already 5:30. Marv, I don't like as a Kyler and offensive coordinator. Don't know if they're going to change up his routes or what, but they need to. Otherwise, it just will be the same shit over and over again. Nope. Game's at 7 o'clock. Okay, we're good. Sorry about that. Alright, so I got some time. Yeah, real quick, I'll just go Marv, but then I'll kind of show them all because Jason and Marv are by each other anyway. So, and then I'll drop down to Cup after that. But his route running was, not his route running, but the routes they called for him weren't that great. He's not like an elite separator in terms of like burning speed. It'd be more from his route running, but Kyler can't see him. That's a bit of a problem, huh? Like he loves Trey McBride, as he should. And if James Conner has a relatively healthy year and Trey Benson ends up panning out like the way they want him to, even if Conner does end up going down, then it'll be tough. It'll be tough to return on ADP, and like their early schedule in the year is great. Like they're gonna be favored in a lot of games, which means probably a negative game script for the wideout room, mainly Marv. Trey McBride a little bit too, but James Conner should be eating. Even Trey Benson might, have a scrap or two, for sure, because they're going to be winning. They're not going to need to play James Conner all the time, depending on who they're playing. Like week 1, New Orleans, I wouldn't be shocked if they beat them by more than 21. I don't think anybody would be shocked. New Orleans is a horrible team. Love Kellen Moore, but it'll take years to change that team around. But I'll show you now, like, kind of who's going around. Like, we got Jason at 14. And we got Marv at 18. So relatively the same area, like around here. I'd take Terry McLaurin over both, Mike Evans over both, Adams over both. I don't know if I'd take Tyreek over both. Maybe I would, because they don't have good cornerbacks anymore because they're like injured over in Miami, and their offensive line is dinged up, which can hurt Hill, but that might hurt their run game more, so they're gonna have to rely on passing it even more, which is okay. And I'd like to probably trade Tyreek before he either ends up getting traded or injured again, because his like separation fell off a little bit last year. He's at that age 30 mark too, which can play a part in it. But let's see here. Like a lot of these guys, I just don't really like. I feel like they're being ranked too highly. Like Sutton, I'd take over them as well. Worthy, I'd take. Like these guys, I like Worthy, Devonta Smith, Tet, Pickens, Ridley, Travis Hunter, and hell, even JMO. I'd take all of them over guys like DJ Moore, which I'll talk about later, Metcalf, Wilson, Marv, JSN. I'll throw Tyreek in there too. Not on the video, but I'd take them all. and I don't know why I know why they're not being ranked as high, because they haven't shown that wideout one season that JSN did last year, or maybe an improved potential of being the main focal point now, with JSN, with Marv year 2 jump could happen, or Garrett Wilson, no more Devontae to hold him back, back to being the number 1 guy. You got DK with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, my GOAT. As a Bear fan, he's my GOAT, unfortunately. I have to give him props. Best quarterback of all time. Argue with the wall. But I mean, just not a good not a good situation there. All these other guys have good situations and they're on good offenses, which will be more important. I'd rather, depending on who it is, I'd rather have a wideout 2 who is on a team with a good QB, not super run heavy, and they're on a top 10 offense. They're probably around top 10, rather than a wideout 1 who has shown it before, but has too many changes happening within one off season, and they could be on a bottom 8 team, or bottom 8 offense overall. That's just how I view it. Because I'm not going to be happy playing them. I don't care that they're the number 1. I'm going to feel tied down playing them too often. Maybe not anymore, because I'm smarter than what I was before. But I just feel too tied down, to playing them. Hell, even Pearsall, I draft over. This is just Olave, Buka, Golden. All right, Golden maybe not. But the other ones I would for sure. But then Cup, where is that old man? He's at 43, but he's just completely off my board, because again, I don't know what they're gonna do with him. The only way I draft him would be second to last round, and I try to trade him and hope I get lucky week 1 or week 2 and he ends up doing well and I can trade him off my team. But I'd rather have guys like Pittman, Juwan, Mooney, Downs. Again, this is an average. I think a lot of these guys are probably a little higher. There's no way Downs is going after Cup. That can't be a real thing. Probably Marvin Mims I'd take. Jaden Higgins I'd take. Because of Christian Kirk injury history, and Houston has no running game or offensive line, so they're going to have to throw. Keenan Allen I'd probably take. Yeah, Keenan Allen I'd take over Cup, I think. It's kind of tough. That one's actually pretty tough. Romeo Doubs I'd take with the Jaden Reed injury. Xavier Legette I'd take. Coker on IR to open up the year for a month, and if they change up his route running a little bit with him not being the X now, if they put him on a flanker, he should be a little bit better, I'd like to think. Which he should be the flanker. Tet should be the X usually. We'll see how Dave will chalk it up. He's a good play caller from what we've been able to see, so we'll find out there. But I'd take Josh Palmer, Dante Thornton over Cup. All these guys I'd take over him. Yeah, just ain't worth it for me. 2 more left. We got DJ Moore. Why? Love the talent as a Bear fan. Love DJ Moore. Super happy we have him, but we have too many people to feed. The only way pretty much all of them could return on ADP would be one, if other guys ahead of them at current ADP end up getting injured. So even people behind them who will outproduce them, they'll kind of keep at their ADP that you drafted them at. Or Caleb Williams has to be a top 6 quarterback. You have mainly Swift as a running back, Loveland, Kmet for tight ends. Then you have Rome, Burden / Olamide Zacchaeus. I'll count them both as a half. They have Olamide right now as their wideout 3, but I think Burden will kind of work his way up over the course of the year after missing training camp. I figured this would happen, but other than DJ Moore. 6 people right there. And in the goal line, within the 5, they're probably going to want to, run the ball in with either Roshan Johnson or maybe they sign Jamal Williams. I've heard a little bit of rumblings about. Familiar with Ben Johnson. That could happen. Now that DJ Moore is like a inside the 5 type of wideout, big body, like AJ Brown or Mike Evans over the shoulder. He ain't like that. But just way too many people. They're lining him up at running back a little bit right now, which is fine with injuries they've had in training camp. And right now for the Chicago Bears, for the running back room, I'm not shocked. But I just don't know what the manufacturer touches will look like, or if they're just going to mainly have him be a decoy. Like, that absolutely could happen because of how many people they have to feed. Like, defenses are going to be careful of DJ Moore, and they don't have to give him the ball one time. Because you have Kmet, Loveland, Olamide, and Luther Burden in Rome. Like, you don't need to give it off to DJ Moore. You really don't have to. I don't think they should. I think it'd be smarter if they didn't. And they have a better defense as well. Under DA, love him. I don't think our defense will be top 8 overall, but we should be more toward the better half of middle of the pack in the league. We're great against the pass. Could be a little different now. Under DA, Eberflus was a good defensive minded guy. Hate him as a head coach, but as a defensive coordinator defensive mind, he was really good. I can't hate on him for that. We pretty much kept everybody though, so we're gonna be playing more man, and we kind of need to. I feel because our pass rush is really shit already, so we're gonna need the extra people up there in the box to kind of put more pressure on the quarterback. So again, better defense, and we're not going to be down all the time to where we have to throw the ball like they did last year. A lot. So either DJ Moore has to be Caleb's favorite wideout, or just target in general, and he'd have to get 8 or 9 touchdowns to return on value, but I just don't think that'll happen. Again, love him as a talent, but I'd take. Again, I keep talking about it, but I'm gonna keep hammering it. I take Worthy, Devonta Smith, J-Mo, Ted McMillan, Pickens, Ridley, Hunter, Ricky, Olave, Igbuka, maybe Waddle. But I'd take 10 players over him. And the one year where he finished as the wideout 6, I think. He had the 50 bomb or the 45 bomb against Washington, and he had another really high game. Outside of that, I don't even know if he had a 20-point game, maybe one. But he got overinflated and overhyped big time from them games. But I'm not losing sleep over it. I'm not drafting DJ Moore. I think he'll be better in real life than in fantasy. So, and the final one, DK Metcalf, athletic freak, but Arthur Smith has never really been known to be favorable for the wideout 1 or any wideout on a team he's been an offensive coordinator for. Look at Drake London and what he did the year after Arthur Smith left. Weird, huh? He loves tight ends. They got Jonnu and Pat Freiermuth. Jonnu I'm not worried about. He only had one good year, and that was last year. Anyway, and I think Pat Freiermuth will be better anyway. I think he is a better overall tight end. But they got 2 running backs with Caleb Johnson and Warren, which are going to be splitting time, which is fine. That doesn't really impact Metcalf. But they have a really bad O-line. Not bottom 5, I don't think. But probably bottom 10. And you have an immobile Rodgers. Again, my GOAT. Greatest quarterback of all time. Argue with a wall, but I think for him it'll be too tough to kind of have enough time to throw DK the deep balls that he can. He will get them this year for sure, but Rodgers will really have to dot that shit for Metcalf to catch it, and he can separate, but he's not it won't be with route running. It just won't. It'll have to be with a mismatch or a blown coverage or with Rodgers can diagnose and change up play call. Like he will hyper target Metcalf, but Metcalf has always been a non-volume guy. He's been more of a lower volume guy, and been able to make a lot out of them, like out of the targets and catches that he has had. So who knows? He could be targeted more times this year than any other year. Their defense will still be fine, keeping them in games and everything, but just really tough with Rodgers back there with being immobile. I don't think like Mason Rudolph would be any better when he was playing with Pitt or in Pittsburgh or Wilson. Not to say that they'd be better than Rodgers or Fields, but they could all move. So DK is way too tough. Like every player I mentioned for DJ Moore, I'd take over DK as well. So it's really tough there. Really tough there. Again, great talent, but just too many things changing for like a lot of these guys. I'm on Raw. Wilson. I mean, they do have one of the guys from the Lions who went with Aaron Glenn, which could be the saving grace for him. But man, he's gonna have to get targeted 190 times, 195. Otherwise, he's not gonna do fuck all. Jason, second, wide out with a lot of changes. I guess I'll throw Cooper Kupp because they're kind of competing with one another and too many people to feed with DJ Moore. Then Metcalf, you have another change of scenery, offensive play caller, not favorable, and just too many things are lining up to not go their way. But yeah, it's pretty much an overrated group entering the year. Haven't touched any of them for any redraft or best ball. Or actually, maybe I might have drafted more in one of them for best ball because I fell into the more hype back in August. But the more I've thought about it, the more I'm out on him. Then keeper. I did one keeper league. Didn't draft any of these guys when I could have drafted a few, but no thank you. I'm not doing it. But yeah, hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you want, leave a like, subscribe, comment, the whole shebang. Feel free to give me your thoughts underneath, down below. Obviously, with not having a fucking, following, I'll reply to any comment, and we can have a little discussion if we need to. Just kind of go, back and forth, because, we all love talking about fantasy and kind of what we think and how we feel, and, it'll be fun to watch the year unfold. For sure. It'll be fun. But, yeah, hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.